Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today and I am really excited. Really excited. I have in my hot little hands the newest release from Perfumery. So this one is Dandelion Butter. Now, I have tried all 4 of Perfumery scents. I actually own 2, gladly, and that is Warm Bulb and Morel Map, because they are just fantastic. The other 2 are fantastic too, but those are the 2 that really stood out to me. So I really feel like Perfumery kind of came into its own with the last 2. Like, the other ones were great. I think it was with the candlestick and I forget the other one, I'm sorry. They're both fantastic, but I feel like they're similar to other things, and the last 2 were just completely in their own like realm. So I'm curious to see where they go with this one. And it is Dandelion Butter. Sounds delicious. So, do you like butter? Actually, I'm okay with it. They ask you, but I'm all right with it. So, this is 30 milliliters for $140. It is a bit spendy, so you may want to get samples. This is available in the sample set, I think, now, and as its own individual sample, so you can check it out. So, the notes are, let me see. Oh, I see. I was reading it. It comes in a butter wrapper if you buy it from there. I didn't. I know. Distraction. So, the top notes are pollen, dandelion greens, middle are yellow dandelion, snap stem, milky sap, and base is salted butter, dandelion stain chin. So, impression is glowing yellow, milky green, creamy cream. There you go. A yellow glow cast by a yellow bloom. And so, of course, this is going to be a very summery scent. I mean, I would imagine, being dandelion. So the last 2 really evoked a lot of childhood memories for me. You can watch the individual reviews, and then of course I do the ranking. And I may talk about at the end of this where this ranks in comparison to the others. So this is what it looks like. Cute little bottle here, dandelion butter. And I always want the sprayer to face this. it's my OCD. So here we go. Oh, that's interesting. I can get a little bit of the scent. It's actually kind of buttery and green. Interesting. Okay, I am so excited. So we're gonna do 2 and 2. Oh, that went the wrong way. Just sprayed that way. 1, 2. So bizarre. Ooh. Wow, this is very green. It's dripping, so I'm trying to put it here because it's extremely green. And well, it was dripping. You gotta love those sprays. They're intense. Oh, wow. So this smells exactly like a field of dandelions. And what's interesting is you can actually get the pollen. So this may freak people out who are allergic to pollen. I don't really have any allergies like that, so I have friends who do, but I'm definitely getting that pollen. And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you walked through a field of flowers and you get the pollen kicking up as you walk through. This is so interesting. So I'm definitely getting green, but there's a sweetness to the green. So it's not just dandelions. And yes, dandelions, they're like a little flower. Some people told me they're weeds. They're like, pull them out. Don't, they're weeds. But they have, I don't remember them having this much of a sweetness. But I like this because I was afraid this was going to be too green. And usually I don't buy a full bottle, but I love so much. And the last 2 just really shook my world in a good way. So I was like, I'm doing it. Blind buy. So this is very green. This is dandelion. Grassy dandelions. You are in a field. But there's a sweetness to it. And I don't know if that's the butter. It's interesting. Ooh, way green on here. Somewhere around here, I'm getting the buttery scent. So you get the greens, and then underneath is a buttery sweet scent. So it's not like cheap butter at the store. It's expensive butter. It's like the butter, or even like if you've been to Ireland, their butter is very sweet. It's a sweet butter. Or if you've ever churned butter yourself, it's sweeter. And so it's that sweeter butter. And yes, I have churned butter. I did it in school. Don't ask. But so it's that sweet butter. It's almost like a sweet buttery scent, like the expensive stuff, and the dandelions above it. So butter here, dandelions floating above. Ooh, that is nice. But let's try the chemistry. Pure dandelions. It's pure dandelion greenery, but not too green. And that's what I was worried about. I was like, this might be too green for me. But it's perfect. It's very deep green here, but there's still that sweetness. Here I'm not getting the butter. It's almost like I'm getting a floral in there of some sort. Yeah, like almost like, I know it's not, but I'm almost getting like a floral, like, I don't know, like almost like a violet type floral. Yeah. Very strange. Maybe my nose is making that up, but there's a floral in there that I don't see listed here, and it's almost like a little bit like a violet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get that from it. But let's try it on the clothing. So on the clothing, I'm getting a lot of greenery, but there's also a sweetness. Very interesting. I don't really know where that butter's coming from. I think it's here because it's not coming from my chemistry. It's that light butter underneath, but ooh, that is nice. That is really nice. So this is a more simple scent for Clue Perfumery. This is a little bit more focused. Like Warm Bulb, you got the vanilla, you got the burning dust, and that electric charge that kind of was like, whoa. This isn't necessarily like that as much, but I still really love it. And what I will say is it's a lot more wearable than I thought it was going to be thus far. We'll see where it goes. I'm definitely getting that butter coming up though. That's really cool. So it's that sweet dandelion, and it really is butter, but it's wearable. That's really cool. I will say it's a gentle scent, so it stays around here because dandelions in general are not crazy. But I'm getting that floral, like beautiful violet or something. Very strange. This is fantastic, by the way. But what I'm going to do, because this isn't morphing a lot, is I'm going to check back in an hour, and we'll see where dandelion butter goes. More dandelion, more butter. Who knows? Okay, so it has been an hour, and I can definitely still smell it in this pocket here. You know, this is a lighter scent. So what I like about it is it's not going to be really too much this time of year, which I think, especially if you live in a hot area or a humid area, you don't want that. Certain scents are just going to be too much in the humidity or in the heat. And this one is very light and refreshing. Now just smelling it, walking around, I'm definitely getting that sweet butter more with the greenery of it. So it's this pretty green scent with this sweet butter, and I feel like the butter is slowly coming out a little bit more, which is interesting because again, it's sweet, but yet it's not really savory. It's sweet, but you also get that greenery with it. It's a very interesting scent. There is really nothing like this that I've smelled, but let's try it on the wrist. On the wrist, it's green. It's like this beautiful, sweet green. I'm not really getting the butter notes at all on my chemistry. So it's kind of like this sweet greens. It's like stems, but sometimes stems are a little bit more bitter when you break them or when you mow the lawn or you walk through them. It's not like mowing the lawn that has a very specific smell, but it's like being in a field of greens. And it's like that, but it's not too green. It has this sweetness to it that's really just nice. and beautiful. But let's try it on the clothing because I think that's where the butter is coming from. Okay, so on the clothing, it's definitely not as sweet. No, on the clothing, it's a little bit more of those bitter greens. But what's changing it a bit is underneath again is that butter scent, but a sweet butter scent. So it really hasn't morphed too much. This one is very much what it is. You know, when you first spray it, it settles pretty quickly and stays as the notes are. So it really hasn't changed much, except the butter is a little bit more forward, but not overwhelming. It's still really balanced, but for the most part, it really hasn't changed in the last hour. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna come back in 4 hours, so it'll be 5 hours total, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so it is fine. Okay, so it has been 5 hours, and I can still smell the scent. It's close to the body, but it's still here. And I will say this about Clue, is that they don't tend to be a huge blast of scent. It definitely tends to stay in its own little space. And I don't mind that, actually. I feel like these are more intimate scents. I feel like, if that makes sense. Not that they don't, it stays in its bubble, so people will smell it if they come into your bubble, but I'm just saying in general, I kind of like that about them. It's not, these aren't loud scents. It's almost like a memory, if that makes sense. Like every single one of these fragrances has a memory tied to it a bit. So with this one, you can definitely still smell it. It's still there, but if you want it to, now it's more like here, when before it was out here. So you could spruce it up, I'd say probably around the 4 or 5 hour mark if you want to boost it again, but you may not want to. I think this one is still going strong. I can still smell it, and it's really great. So let us smell the notes on the skin. Okay, on the skin, it's really hard to smell. So I think part of it is, no, it's very hot. It's humid, so that may be part of it. I get a little bit of the greenery, but for the most part, it is gone on my skin. It's mostly on the clothing, it appears, because I smell it really well still on the clothing. But that's normal for most fragrances, but on the skin, it's very lightly there. So maybe if it was less humid, it would stay a little bit longer, but I'm not sure. But it's pretty light on the skin, and it's pretty much that same sweet green that I was talking about. But let's try it on the clothing. I can kind of smell it still, so let's see. Okay, so on the clothing, I'm definitely getting more of that salty, buttery. It's like a sweet and salty butter. Yeah, so the green is still there, but now the butter scent is out. It's like a little bit salty, a little bit sweet. Not like, what do you call that? Like kettle popcorn? It's salt and sweet. But the difference is that has more sugar on it. With this, it is like a sweet butter with some salt added to it. That's definitely what I'm getting, is that sweet butter scent over the green scent now. So it does eventually come through, while the green notes tend to go to the wayside a little. Well, not go to the wayside. They take a back step, at least on my clothing. That butter definitely comes through. And I could definitely smell it a lot more now, when before it was green. Now it definitely is the butter is the star, salty sweet butter, with the greens coming out in little poofs, but for the most part it is that buttery scent, which is kind of interesting. Now, I will say some people may find this a little bit confusing, just because I think in general, this is why I love Clue Perfumery, is that they don't step away from unique profiles. And I think it can confuse people sometimes. Like I said, the electrical charge of warm bulb, it has that same type of thing, where it's like it has that one note that's kind of like, what? That would be the salted butter, sweet butter. That's where you're kind of like, what? But that's what makes it different. It's not like anything else that's out on the market. So these are very much art pieces, but not to the point that they're unwearable. It's just, do you want these notes or not? Because not everybody wants to smell like butter. I don't mind. I mean, it definitely is unique. So this isn't something that you buy going into it going, this is going to be my signature scent. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere, but that isn't necessarily, I think, what is going to be the case for most people. These are more artistic pieces that you wear here and there. Like I wore warm bulb recently, I think like a month ago, out, and people were like, "What? Do you smell that?" And it was a good thing, but it was like an electrical charge. Some of the people were smelling it, and it really threw them off. And I'm like, "It's me." So there you go. But I loved it. But is it something that I'd wear all the time? No. Am I glad? Am I glad I own it? Absolutely, because it's just such a cool, interesting brand. So this one is really good. It's just, would I wear it all the time? Probably not, but I wouldn't any of them, just because this wouldn't be my signature scent. These are like special. I feel this today, and I would definitely wear this one. Definitely wear it again. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I love the initial blast with that beautiful green. That's the sweet greens, and then a little hint of that sweet butter. It was just perfect. Hi, baby. It was just perfect. And now I kind of like where I went with the buttery effect, but I can see how some people go, this is very odd, and I love that odd. So there you go. I love Clue, and I think part of it is it really does bring up that nostalgia of childhood a little bit. I know where I was raised, there was a lot of fields, and there were like dandelions, and I remember sitting in the yard, you know, with friends, or in the fields with friends, or sitting with my dog, you know, and you would make like daisy chains and things. Now this isn't really daisy chains, but she's licking my finger. But I taste like butter to her. She's like, I smell butter. But you know, taking various flowers and putting them together and making a daisy chain for your hair. I remember doing things like this. I remember sitting in the grass with friends with something like this, and that smell of, you know, pulling the flowers out of the ground, or the dandelions, and that smell. It's so good. And what I liked about it is at first you really get that hint of pollen. I know people with allergies are like, oh no, but you're safe. So there you go. But it never is too bitter, except on the clothing. It was more bitter than on my chemistry, but it doesn't take it too far, because I'm not really big into bitter notes, but this one never takes it too far over the edge. And you have the underlying butter, and then eventually they switch places, at least on my clothing. But it definitely is a unique scent. I don't quite know where the butter comes into in the memory. I guess maybe you're eating popcorn while sitting in that grass, but it just evokes summertime when the days went on forever. And I'm like, gosh, where are those days? Because now I remember summer, I'm like, oh my gosh, it goes on so long, and now I'm like, it's over? It's Christmas already? Whew, yeah. So things change. But I do think that this is a solid scent. It completely fits in the profile of Clue. As I said, I feel like the last two releases, Warm Bulb and Morel Map, kind of took Clue to a different area. The first two are really good, but I feel like there were things similar to it, but Clue puts a little twist on it. This definitely puts their stamp as this is Clue Perfumery, and I love that they're staying in this kind of crazy little niche, and I'm glad to see that they're selling out, because it shows that there's an interest for this, and I love seeing people being successful doing something completely off the charts and new and different and artsy. And this is the house if you're into artsy pieces that are wearable. It's just, are these notes wearable for you? So as always, I always say get a sample. They have samples that you can buy online. You can get them from various sites depending if they are retailers that carry it, and test it out for yourself. I really do like this one. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would I put this? So I will say that I would probably give this a 7.8. I know I was like, are you serious? Just give it an 8. It's almost an 8, but it's a little bit shy. And the only reason is I wish the greenery lasted a little bit longer, but that could just be a me thing. And on the skin, it's almost gone, but that's because it's like 100 billion degrees outside. So it's hot and everybody's sweating, even with the air conditioning on. Yeah, so it you know, so that may be a me thing, but I love this one. I think it is a great companion to the collection. I am so happy to have my bottle here. Probably be putting it on display on my shelf. Love this. I love this. Fantastic job to Clue Perfumery, yes. So, with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.